Welcome, welcome, welcome again. This is our 19th show. Oh my gosh,
Woohoo!
Olivia, I am so excited. It's been a while since we've seen you guys. Um, as always, I welcome Olivia. Myself is here.
Hi.
Ren, she's not joining us tonight, but we will be seeing her soon in the future. She's on doing a lot of different things right now. A lot of new ventures are happening for her, and I'm so proud. And so very soon she'll be with us again as soon as she
Yay.
start putting things into place. Yes, but Olivia, oh my gosh, it's been a while. How have you
It
been?
has been. So it's the new year, new us, right? Everything's been great. I was actually trying to put a little list together of some things that have changed since the last time we saw each other. So this is my third month without my mom, and
Oh yeah.
we're hanging in there. It's tough. It's tough. I truly understand what loss looks like because
Yes.
this is my first big loss. Losing my mom was big, but we're all hanging in there. We're finding our way, which is really good. Um, my husband still makes me smile, and I think I still make him smile. So
That's
that's
awesome.
really good. Um, Kansas City lost today, so for all you football fans out there, man, I was banking on Patrick Mahomes to, take us to the finish line, but not this go round. My son, I have two sons and a daughter. My middle son graduated
Oh
college
wow,
as an
awesome.
engineer. I'm so incredibly proud of him. He worked very hard for 5 solid years, and he did complete, and he is gainfully employed, and he's shipping out on Tuesday out to San Francisco, and that's where he's going to start. The home base will be San Francisco for a short while, but his job is virtual, so he can travel around the country or the world for that matter. And I
That
love,
is
I love,
awesome.
I love young people because they're always really open to new things and new change. And then, of course, Stacey Abrams is running for governor. I
The
don't believe
governor,
that's
yes.
political, but I
Oh
just
my
have to throw
gosh.
that in there. So exciting. And then, of course, this the pandemic is still with us, but we're not losing as many
It's many
people.
people.
So I'm just really grateful that masks are available anywhere you want them now, in any shape, color, size. The slogan is great. And then also, for those of us who want to get vaccinated, it's available. And if you want to get boosted, it's available. And then if you don't, well, there's so many people who are vaccinated and boosted that just mask up and you're okay. So,
Yeah,
life is good. 2022, here we are.
I
You know,
know. I mean, there's been a lot of things that's been going on with myself. I've been really delving in, trying to finish that book that I've been trying to do for the longest, making a little ways with that.
okay.
Um, always coming up with something new. The thing is that just having to finish one thing before something else comes up. So, yeah, I'm making my list and honing in on trying to actually get things done. um, what else has been happening with me? Back in school, love my students.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
doing
You
very
brag
well.
about those kids all the
Yeah, I
time.
do. I love them. I love them. You know how 12, 11, and 12-year-olds are. Oh, they think they're grown.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I love the experience and I'm having fun and I'm really, really enjoying them, just getting better at what I do. What else has been happening? Like I said, I had a couple of new ideas that I put out, have them written down. A book in the making, another one. Oh my gosh, I got to get the first one out, right? Just get up and do something about it. But the other one is if love fails, chew gum. Yes, chew gum. And what does that mean? Oh gosh, that's coming. You will see.
Okay, that's
If
exciting.
all else,
Chew gum. Look, I'm a gum chewer. I hate to say it out loud, but I could literally finish a 16-pack gum in 2 days and not
oh
even
my
blink.
gosh.
I mean, so easy. Once I hone in on something, it's over. I'm just popping gum. I chew gum like chain smokers smoke cigarettes. Awful, but I get it. So chew gum. I'm with
Yeah.
you.
But we're narrowing down from January, the first month, and it's wonderful to just still be here. Like you've lost your mother, I lost my brother, and just a lot of friends that I have adored, just knowing and over the years, and just being happy that I get another day, and hopefully with that changes in the future, changes within myself, embracing the changes that are happening, so just getting better, trying, you know. But yeah, 60 years and beyond. Let's give shout outs to people who have made those milestones. Happy birthday to anyone who's turning 60, who's turning 50, or even 40. I want to give a shout out to a good friend of mine. I call her my goddaughter, Sakina Wood. She'll be embracing a milestone coming up. And
Yay.
just it's just happy, it's just happiness all around. And so that's where I am. Change is inevitable, and it's gonna happen. In January, some things have happened. We lost a few good people,
Very
just
notable folks. Yes.
yes, think about Sidney Poitier, a very well-known actor. I remember him as a child, watching him in movies like Lilies of the Field, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. I actually
Guess who's
watched
coming
that
to
recently.
dinner?
Yeah,
Yes,
that
that
was
was
a good
big.
one.
That
They
was
Call Me
big.
Mr. Tibbs, another good movie that he did, is a series of that. So, him, and then one of the comedians, what's his last name? Sagan. He passed,
Oh,
as well as Betty
yes.
White, one of the Golden
Oh my
Girls.
gosh. Betty
Yeah.
White was just, people say that she's lived a long life. She was 96, I think, or not. No, she was 99. She was 99.
Yeah,
And
she was 99 years old,
yeah,
about to
but
turn 100. Yeah.
yeah, but all her faculties were there the entire time. So age is really just a number because you can hold down a good conversation. She was healthy, she was still walking around, and so you really miss those people.
Yeah.
They're
And Sidney
big.
Poitier, he was in his 90s as well. He
He
was one
sure
of the
was.
yeah, awesome person, awesome actor, one of the pioneers for Black actors and actresses to enter the field.
He
I
really did.
remember,
He paved the way for so many people to
yeah,
follow, and he was not selfish with it either. And he took on the challenge of taking those, saying no to so many opportunities and only accepting the roles that really represented who he was. And that's tough, when you're not from a wealthy family
exactly.
and you're
Hmm.
not privileged, but rather
Hmm.
you're just getting your feet wet, you're just starting to hone in on your skills. So he did the hard stuff for a lot of people, kind of like Muhammad Ali. He took a
Yeah.
pass on so many things in order to just be great, and that's how you have to really honor them. You
And
know,
one of my,
I was going to say that I was in the mall the other day. I'm a fragrance lover, and I went to buy a fragrance, and I didn't know that Terry Mugler, who makes the perfume Angel, he happened to have passed away this week. I was just in the
wow.
store. And only reason I know is because I went to buy a bottle of his perfume. And
Wow.
the young lady says, "Oh, he passed away this week." I was like, "You're kidding me." So, so many people just slip away and we don't always know them. We don't give them their flowers. So let's be mindful. Let's continue to tell each other that we love each other. Let's pick up the phone and call someone every so often and just say, hey, 5 minutes of your time. Send out those texts, right? They're important. Just even if it's just a hey, how's it going? Let's do it.
Yeah. And not just say I love you, say thank you for whatever, just for being
Yes.
here. Just say thank you for anything that you might have done. Being grateful is important. Telling people you
Yes.
love them, giving out those good feelings, making people feel good about themselves, and not only about themselves, about the situation, about the relationship that you have. Yeah, that's awesome. Another good movie that I liked by Sidney Poitier was To Sir with Love. That was an
Oh my
awesome movie.
gosh. Yes. I remember
The song.
the music that went with it. Oh my gosh, that was so big, right?
Yes, that was nice. I remember as a child, I wrote the words down because I kept singing it over and over again. I kept turning turning the page as it was singing it to make sure that I get it down. But that was an awesome movie where he had these English, students, and as
Students.
a black man, um, trying to teach them about life. And at the end, they appreciated him very, very much. So yeah, that
So
was
you
good.
just said something that really segues into change is that that you were writing the words down over and over to get them right, and you were
Yes.
turning the page because that's when we had albums, we had LPs, right? And the words came with it, and you kind of like flipped it over to read. Well, not much has really changed because now my daughter looks at her cell phone and the lyrics are printed off.
Everything is there.
Everything's right there, and she sings the same song over and over and over again until she gets those words right. So we've evolved, we've changed. It's now on her phone versus on paper in an album, right? So just a little different, and you didn't have to have the album to know the lyrics. Now everybody can get those same lyrics because it's public, it's on the internet. Whereas before we used to have to purchase that album and then share it with everyone so that they could get the lyrics to the words.
Yeah.
So
Used
a
to
lot
sit
of
back.
change.
I
There's
remember
change, but it's improvement, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I used to
The
sit by what we
evolution.
used to call a hi-fi. Now they have a Wi-Fi. Years ago, we had the hi-fi. We used to sit this big monstrosity to play the albums. So when you think about things that are out there now and the changes that have been made over the 60 years, life's amazing.
Yes, it
And then when you
is.
think about the changes from that time to now, 60 years, and then what's beyond 60 years, can you imagine where we'll be 30, 40, 50 years from now?
Oh my goodness. Yes. The evolution, right? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I was thinking about change as we were planning for tonight's show. And I was thinking about Obama in 2008. And that was his theme is change. What are we going
Hmm.
to look like moving forward? And
Right.
really reflected on that. So the first thing that comes to mind is that when President Obama was running for election and he won, that was the very first time I even understood what an inauguration looked like.
Hmm.
Literally, Yvonne, that was my first time ever even thinking about it. And we
Hmm.
went down. My entire family
Wow.
drove from Atlanta. There was a caravan of, I think, about 24 of us who went down to DC for the inauguration. And it was my first time
Wow.
ever doing that. I didn't even know what it was, to tell you the truth, until he became president. And then we went back again in 2012 for his second inauguration because it was so
Wow.
important. My daughter she was like 5 or 6 about, because she was
Hmm.
born the first time, but now she was a little older and I wanted her to have that experience so
That
that
experience, yeah.
when she is 50, she can say to her children and her grandchildren that I was at President Obama's
Obama's
inauguration. It's really
inauguration. Yes.
important for me to have her experience that because my sons went through that and it was a big event. I mean, she can tell you about that event. I'll have her tell you about it one time. It's actually
Okay. I'd
her
love to hear it.
experience is nice. Her perspective is very different from our perspective. But when I think about that, I also think about change is like water. It's so fluid.
It's fluid.
It's
Yes.
always flowing. It's always moving as are we. We can never really get stuck. Sometimes our emotions may hold us back, prevent us from moving forward. We get stuck in, a little bit of I want to say like we get that imposter syndrome where we start being a little, we're not sure who we are, so we
Hmm.
start becoming a little of a different person. So I always say that keep it fluid, remain friendly, don't let your emotions hold you back, Don't
Mm-hmm.
don't end a friendship and not necessarily know why you ended that friendship, and 20 years has elapsed and you're like, wow, I don't even remember why we stopped talking. You know what I mean? You missed
Right,
something
right,
of your
right.
life. So I really want to point that out to our listeners, is that, when we're talking about change, let's change for the better. Let's look for ways to improve ourselves. Let's look ways
Exactly.
to hone into our emotions, understand them, and not get offended so easily. Let things bounce off a little bit. If it's not going to affect you in 2 weeks, it's okay then. Just let it roll off your back like a duck in water. you know.
And that's important because the main thing that we're going to talk about tonight is change. There change is inevitable. There are reasons that we need change, and why. We must not be afraid to make changes in our lives, to grow and do things that are better. And sometimes we may find ourselves at a state where we need change and don't know how to make the changes to get us to where we
Mm,
want to be. And
yeah.
so that's what we want to really talk about, hone in a little bit, like, um change. How do you change? How do you embrace it so that you're not afraid to take the steps forward that you need to take? You know, how do you
Mhm.
not be afraid to just leap and understand that it's important to change, why we should change, and
So you're
then
saying
move on.
let's make way. Let's move over and allow change to come into our lives. That's what I'm
Exactly.
hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for example, at the beginning of every new year, we talk about all these New Year's resolutions, right? That
Exactly.
last, what,
Mm-hmm.
about a week? 2 weeks if we're lucky. So maybe we look at change as not a New Year's resolution, but as a way of improvement. Whether it is we're looking at how can we really embrace a healthier lifestyle. We're not saying, hold yourself to this resolution that I'm going to stop eating X, Y, and Z, but rather let's just embrace a healthier lifestyle, right? It's
Yes, exactly.
it's a way of changing. It's not locking ourselves into this one thing, and if we fall short, then we can't move forward, but rather saying, well, let's just try it out. Let's see how it goes, And the same thing could be the way we approach our finances. For example, let's not keep uh, doing the same thing with our finances that we've done in
Exactly.
the past. Let's set aside, I don't know, $10 a week every week, because sometimes we say, oh, at the end of the year I'll have accumulated $5,000, I'll have saved it. But yeah, did you put a plan in place to make that change occur? So if we
Exactly.
do $10 a week, for example, all of a sudden at the end of the year we're like at $520. Or we put $20 a week, and then all of a sudden we're like at $1,040 or whatever the number.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? So let's embrace some change with our finances, with our emotions. How do we improve our health, for example? How do we improve our relationships with people? Try to find, things that we struggle with, and then try to change them. And we don't have to do dramatic changes, but very slight, so that we can slowly embrace those changes instead of fight them. So how do we
Exactly.
how do we change from, talking about the book that you're writing to actually
Actually have.
writing the book and then publishing it? Because let's it's we put the words out there in the atmosphere, so now it's up to us to make that change,
Make that
right?
happen. Right, right,
And
right.
make it happen. So,
Mhm.
how do we do that? Let's put some things in place, right? Hold ourselves a little bit accountable
Okay.
for that change that we're going to make. And it's okay if we fall short, but
Yeah,
let's continue to strive um, for completion. Strive for that change that we're talking about. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. And then sometimes you may find yourself in situations that are not amicable for you, but you find yourself stuck and not knowing how to get out of it, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, or something that keeps you back. And so you're looking for the next best thing that can help you take that step to make that change.
Mhm.
But you have to start within, and knowing that, first of all, I know that I have to, because things are not where I want them to be,
Yeah.
and so if they're not, what can I do to make the difference? The first thing is wanting to, acknowledging the fact that it is inevitable, and that in order for you to get better or do better or see better or try to be better at whatever it is, that you got to take those steps to do that. Yeah.
And those are some rough steps, okay?
Yeah.
Sometimes they're rough. They really are. So, what are some reasons why change is important? By the way, like, what comes to mind when you think of change? What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
When I think about change, I think about growth, not staying the same.
Yeah.
So when I think, okay, the idea, I have to change, because otherwise you'll find yourself on this hamster wheel going in circles, and
Yeah.
nothing is happening, and you get embedded with a routine, and then that becomes you, and that becomes your life. So if you don't seek change or try to look for something that's going to help make the difference, and then put the fears behind you and take that leap, then nothing will
Mm.
happen.
You said a very important word, fear. Put the fear behind you and then kind of move forward. So, when I think of change, I think of reevaluating, taking a second look, taking another look, and then determining what's good, what's okay, what's bad, and then kind of removing those things that are not working,
Exactly.
and
Hmm.
improving on those things that are working so that
That
they
are
become
working.
better, because that's how we move forward, right? So you have to do like an evaluation of yourself in order to make change, because you may want to change, but if you don't know what it is that you want to change, how can you possibly change it?
Exactly.
So you almost have to identify it, right? So I think of a little bit of an evaluation or a reevaluation maybe, and
Hmm.
then I get excited about how to go about doing it, and and then taking those with me that I love on that journey of change.
And
Because
see, and you said a key word is evaluating. We have to evaluate ourselves constantly to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do.
yes,
Are
yes,
we happy where we are? We are in control, actually, of our lives. We can't blame other people for things that are not going right in our lives. And so um we got to make that step. We have a few quotes that our engineer Ish in the background, love you Itch, could put up about fear. People that are fearful in their changes, to make changes, and why it's important to go ahead and move forward. And then we have another quote that talk about change is inevitable, and it's important that we realize that it's going to happen, and we're going to have to embrace it for what it is. Yeah. Sometimes what you're afraid of doing is the very thing that will set you free. We're fearful of a lot of things. And sometimes it's important to realize to put the fears behind you and take that step. And with that, then change can happen. Change does not roll in on wheels of inevitability, but come through continuous struggle. And a lot of times, in the 60s, when Martin Luther King was alive, constant struggle for African Americans, for us during that time. I mean, I was a child, and as I grew and understood, even as a child, what was happening to us as a people, you learn to respect the changes that people were fighting for. People like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, so H. Rap Brown, was quite a few activists that were out there during the early 60s fighting to make change. And so when you look around today, you ask yourself, has change been made?
That's a good question.
Are we still where we are, or
Where we were, where we used to be.
yeah,
Absolutely. So when you say that, it makes you have to be held accountable, right?
yes,
Do we want to remain in this exact spot, or do we want to be a part of the change that is inevitable? Because change is going to happen, and you
yes,
can sometimes get stuck, you know, where you are and not move forward with that change. We don't want to be the blockbusters of the past where we're no longer relevant. We don't want to
right,
be the Kodak pictures of the past. We really want to be able to move forward. And it is a little nerve wracking. It is a little fearful. But then once you adjust and you make that change, it's amazing how comfortable or how easy it becomes. It's those first steps that are difficult. And
exactly.
that's what we really have to let us think about how we can influence not just ourselves but others to take those first steps to allow change to take place in us. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
it starts here, or else we will become irrelevant. We will be
exactly.
Kodaks and the blockbusters and the Radio Shacks of the past. And
Of the past, stuck in the
yeah,
past
we'll be
and not
stuck in
able
the
to move forward.
yeah. So that's what we have to do. We really have to, always put our best foot forward, not be so fearful, as you said, and just kind of and see where we end up. I know we had a pretty cool video. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Says we are addicted to our thoughts. We cannot change anything if we cannot change our thinking. That's Santosh Kalwar. It's very important to change your frame of mind for something that's positive. Very important. Stay away from negative thoughts and different things. Move forward with positive measures, knowing that as a person, as a community, as a people, that in order to embrace change, that we have to think about changing our thoughts, our mindsets within ourselves, and then move forward from there.
Yeah, our psychology has to change. I love it.
Yeah. Change brings opportunities. That is by Nito Quabin. Very true. Opportunities live in change. When you open the door to something new, there's a lot that can happen within that. It was a story I
Hmm.
remember once when someone had the opportunity. It was, you have two doors in front of you, you make the selection, and they were fearful about which door to select. One that would take them to um, a world of things that they want, and one would take them to the end. And if they had what they needed, or they felt that they had what they needed to make that decision. And the first thing was, first of all, I don't even, they didn't want to even make a choice for the fear of not making the right choice. But luckily, when they did finally decide, it was the door to opportunities. They selected the correct one. And sometimes, whether you're afraid or not, just take the leap. You may get what it is that's actually out there for you.
I
Yeah.
mean, change could be as easy as rearranging the furniture in your house, by the way, and just trying something a little different. It could be as simple as that. How do you do it? Just kind of going into that room and saying, you know what, I'm going to change it around. These same four walls, these same set of furniture, but I'm going to rearrange it. And sometimes we don't even have the courage to do that.
Yeah.
So
It's
it's
like, yeah, it's like taking a new route to work
it
instead
is
of going the same way every day. If there's several ways to get there, take another
absolutely.
route, you
It's
know.
just are you up for it, or are you going to stay in that same location? So you think about it, like think about the thing that scares you, and
And
then think about how you could make a change, and just jump in with both feet and do it.
exactly, exactly. We have a video. It's a little short video And it's going to talk about change. And if you look closely, you will realize that it actually spells the word out.
Oh, okay.
That
Like
was
it.
awesome. Yes.
I like
There's
that.
several different ways before we actually end that you can think, if you really wanted to make change. Try doing some things in your life. Clear the clutter in your brain and in your mind and around your home. Experiment on new things that can help make the change. Meditation. We talked about this in the past. A lot of things to that you can do to set goals or to improve yourself. Forgive your past and move forward. Be honest with yourself. Identify habits that self sabotage you and become action oriented. Do things that would make a difference. Learn to be persistent and establish new routines. Visualize yourself as someone new and go ahead and make that change. To everyone, we would like to say thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a good rest of your evening. We're still in January. We got 11 more months to go. Make your change.
Be flexible. Encourage those around you to have as much fun as you're having. Be the change that you want to see in your life. And don't beat yourself up if it doesn't happen overnight. That's why it's called change, because it is difficult. So have a little patience, have a little grace with yourself as well, and speak truthfully. And you will be surprised at how freeing that is once you start doing that. Start with the very simple and basic things. And then we will see you in 2 weeks because we'll be celebrating Black History Month.
History Month. Wow. Yes, it's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Black
So
History
looking forward
Month.
to seeing you then. Be good, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us, Facebook family.
Good night.
celebration to last throughout the years. So bring your good times and your laughter too. We gon' celebrate